Yeah, so you sent over your video. It was much longer this time.
I know my phone didn't die this time, so it was a
Yeah.
full length.
Yeah. So how'd you feel about it compared to the first one?
It went a lot better. Yeah, the student was a lot more engaged. I'm gonna shut the door real quick. I'm sorry. There's some
Sure,
kids walking
you're
by
fine. You're
now.
fine.
I thought I had shut it. But yeah, it went a lot better. The student was definitely more engaged. I tried to really keep in mind what you and I had talked about just like following his lead and being less like strictly set on like what I want to do and my plan for this session, and just like have that flexibility and watching like what he's visually attending to, and just being willing to like let him take a little bit more of the lead. And it seemed to work. I mean, I still felt like we got a lot of stuff done. I feel like I got a lot of trials towards his goals. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, did you get, like, how did you feel in the moment, I guess?
Mm.
First, compared to second.
Yeah, I mean, I think I felt better. It was like a couple weeks ago, so I'm trying to like remember exactly how I felt during the time. I think I felt good. I think I was just like fingers crossed, like hoping he would be interested, and hoping I could keep him on track. And like when you have that flexibility, I was like questioning, and I think I was trying to make more decisions in my head about like, what should I be doing next? Like, should I be trying to get him to do this? Like, should I be trying to like, because it was like I let him choose whether he wanted to do like a sandwich shop. I have these little like felt sandwich pieces,
Yeah.
and then I got like the fruit pieces too. So I think just like deciding what the next thing was that I should be doing. So was like always constantly on my mind, since I wasn't necessarily following like a really set strict like agenda of we're doing this and then this and then this. But I think I felt pretty good during it though. Yeah, overall, I just tried to have fun and tried to pay attention to whether he was having fun.
That's exactly what I saw. It looked like you both were having fun.
Yeah. Yeah, he was pretty into it, so I was happy about that. Like he seemed like he was having a good time. I remember that you asked me like in our first reflection, how do I think, like what do I think my student would have said about it if he was able to be more verbally expressive? Like, would he say that he have liked the activity? And I remember being like a little bit taken aback by that, because it was like, oh, I'm not really thinking about previously. I wasn't really questioning in my head of like, how did he have fun? Did he like the activity? Because in my head, it was like, this is therapy. We're doing therapy. I'm working with him to achieve these goals. And I wasn't so much thinking about like, is he having fun or having a good time? But I tried to keep that more at the forefront this time around.
Well, and I was so pleased with that too, because I think it really showed just the enjoyment of the activity. You're making a connection with him, and he's going to be more willing to do things that aren't as
absolutely
difficult. So, but you have to build on that. So that was
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of notes. Loved the blender. And
I know.
did too. And it was so funny because as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, while he's putting in, maybe have him, name the fruit as he's putting them in. And then 2 minutes later, you were doing it. So you did everything so wonderfully. I was really, really pleased. Yeah.
Thank you.
Even the distractions of the kids going by you didn't seem to bother him a bit, because that's how much fun he was.
He liked it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the yes, no question responses that you got from him.
Yeah.
Just tallying for you too. Like, it looks like about 7 out of 12, that he had gotten smiling. I kind of even started making checks.
Yeah.
Smiling.
Yeah, he was smiling. He really liked, a lot of the fruits have like Velcro, and then you have to use the knife to like cut it. I
Yeah.
think he really liked that sensory part of like feeling the crunch as it like cuts the Velcro. Like,
Yeah.
I think he enjoyed that a lot. And then even just like pouring each other drinks and like
Yes.
drinking it together,
Yeah.
just like that play.
Yeah.
He enjoyed it more than I honestly thought that he might. I was like, he may not think this is fun at all, but
Right.
he
And
danced and he
they
liked it.
surprise you all the time, don't they? Did
Yeah.
you feel like that was too watered down or baby? Do you think it was age appropriate or for his
I think it was age.
or
I mean, I think given where he's at, like keeping in mind like his developmental ability, like I think it's appropriate. I probably wouldn't be doing it with him 2 years from now, but for where he's at now, I mean, I think I'm trying to think of it more like as like a simulation or like a representation of something he could really do. Like once he has these skills, maybe he can like go home with his mom and actually cut up fruit and make a real smoothie with a real blender. I saw it more as like, I can't bring a real blender and use it in the hallway, but like, let's try to the best of our ability to like, mimic like we're actually doing a real life activity together. So
right?
yeah, I mean, I think
It was very functional, I thought, too.
yeah.
And that's key to what these kids need too.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you could always ask Carrie sometime, hey, let's do
Yeah.
a classroom real blender activity,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and see what
Yeah.
engagement results would be there too.
Right.
Oh goodness, I had a point I wanted to make.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah.
Great, I said great pretend play. He was naming all of the fruits.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And a lot of that he did spontaneously. I
Yeah.
wasn't even always prompting him like, what is this? What is this? Like a lot of it he was just telling me spontaneously, which was awesome.
And you named the parts of the blender. So you
Mm-hmm.
with his vocabulary too, and showing him new vocabulary too, but of the function.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I might add or extend would be it'd be kind of cool for him to follow a recipe.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Even
That's
if
what I
it's
was thinking.
pretend.
Right. I like going into it, I kind of liked the idea of like one person like pretending like they were ordering a smoothie and saying like,
Yes.
oh, can you make me a smoothie with a banana and a kiwi and a strawberry? And I feel like I don't know. I don't know if we really got to that point where like had really established that dynamic of like one person is asking for it and the other person is like making it. But I think we could revisit it over time and have it be more of like once he understands how this all works and like
yes,
make it like a little bit more structured, or have him like make like little recipe card, or it could be Velcro. Like it could be like it just says recipe and then there's 3 slots. So I can make like a combination where, all right, this one I want you to make, banana, kiwi, strawberry, here you go. Can you make it for me? Stuff like that.
Yes.
So I think that there is room to expand on it.
Yeah. And don't ever feel like you can't use the same activity because, there's the same activity. You're just extending it further. So there's nothing wrong with that. Don't feel like you have to be something brand new each time.
Right.
Yeah, just expand on it. So that'd be awesome. Were you able to watch and take any data or just for that engagement?
I went back. Yeah, I did go back and watch the video. I didn't write tallies yet, but I feel like in my head, like I kind of have like a pretty good idea of like roughly what it looked like. I mean, I'm confident saying like, so like looking at the rubric that I had kind of built for myself going into this, like looking at verbal responses, he definitely gave me more than 15 verbal responses throughout that session. He was pretty verbal.
Yeah.
So I would be comfortable giving him like the highest, like 3 points, at least for where we're at right now, like with what I'm targeting. And again, physical attentiveness, like he was pretty on the ball. He was not falling out of his seat. He wasn't slouching down. He wasn't really like turning around. Like pretty much the whole time his body was doing what I was hoping that he would. So I would probably give him the highest score for that as well. For eye contact, I guess maybe this is one area that I could have given him a little more prompting. I wasn't really doing a lot of prompting for him to make eye contact with me, but he was making really good like visual attentiveness like to the activity itself.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I tried to like present a new idea to him, like maybe he was like really wanting to like just like play with the banana and look at the banana. I had to like move him on and be like, okay, like what else? Go ahead and put it in. Let's keep going. Like there might have been a couple moments here and there where I had to give him some prompting to like continue with the activity. If anything, I feel like that could be the category where maybe I could think about supporting him like a little bit more as we continue to work together. Just like the visual attentive, like eye contact with me, when I ask him things or when I, speak to him, and maybe a little bit of like visually attending to like the right part of what we're doing, but overall really good. I mean, I would maybe mark him in like the middle part, like give him like a middle tier score for that. But overall, way more engaged.
Way more.
Than the first session.
For sure. And you had so many visual supports there for him too. You had the first then, you had
right. And I know you couldn't necessarily see it because of the angle, but I did have it was a first then on the wall. I had a symbol for the smoothie thing or the sandwich thing, and I let him pick which one he wanted to do, and he chose smoothie, so I did that. And then I also had a symbol for like the little like light up green ball or the pirate game, because that's what he had expressed interested in the first time that we worked together. So I let him choose, like, when we're done, do you want to do ball or pirate? And he said ball. I'm like, okay, so we're working for the ball. So I was trying to remind him of those things. And then I had our 3 visual supports for like the engagement piece, which is like body facing the front, listening, and then talking. So I was kind of pointing to those when needed, like, okay, it's your turn to talk. And he responded to it. Like I didn't ever have to really repeat. Like once I indicated that visual support to him one time, he followed through right away. And then I had the little yes, no card, which I did use like, you had kind of presented the idea to me of like, if he's not responding verbally, could he hand you a card instead or just point to one? So my intention was to like accept that as a response. So I like gave him the 2 choices and let him pick yes or no. And I think most of the time, once he pointed to one, he also just ended up saying it out loud. But I didn't really make him say it out loud. I guess if he was already pointing to it, I would just model it and be like, oh, you chose no, you need some more. Okay, well, what else do we want to put in it?
Right. So even like when you said, oh, it's time to, what was your phrase that you use? It's time, your turn to talk.
All right, can you say that one more time? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you said it's your turn to talk, maybe next time just point. And
you're right.
Kind of try to back away from the prompting.
That's true. Having it just
the visual like, and the auditory, just, that would be a way of, backing off
to
make him more independent.
That's a good point. I always forget that I can just use only a visual without a verbal accompaniment to it.
A lot of times when I was being a simple turn taking and I had visuals of wait your turn, because some kids are just in there grabbing. And so if I'm, one person's turn, but there's someone over here grabbing, I'll just that picture and go, I won't even look at them. I'll just go like this and show it to them. And they know.
Right.
Then you're not distracting away from that person whose turn it is too.
Yeah, that's a good point. For some reason, I always forget that you don't have to do a verbal paired with a visual. You can only offer.
Yeah. And it just takes practice.
Yeah. Yeah, and I had him do like the little game, the little pink cat game on the computer to warm up as you
Yes.
had suggested. Which it was still targeting his goals. It was targeting
Right.
like WH questions. So he was super happy and super engaged right away. So I don't think it really
Yes.
hurt.
Yeah.
And
It's
and I also knew I had that on hand. If by chance he didn't like the activity and wasn't buying into it, I could pull that back out and
Or
still
you
get
use it
something
as a
done.
first then too. Oh, well, as soon as we finish, we could go
Yep.
back to this.
Yeah. And I was thinking, because we had also talked about that I might need to use something like really fun and engaging as like a direct reinforcer for behavior, but like I didn't really feel like I needed to resort to that in that session because he was pretty happy and pretty engaged. But in my mind, like if I was having to really provide him with a lot more prompting to follow along, then my plan was to kind of pull out like the ball or maybe the computer and have him have more frequent reinforcement with that desired activity.
Right. Awesome. So you were prepared for the worst,
Yeah.
but things really went very well. So I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
You should feel proud.
Thanks. I'm just happy that he
Good.
liked it so much.
Yeah.
Both for, I mean, like I feel proud, and it's always like a good feeling to feel like you've grown, you know, in my craft and my practice. But I'm also just genuinely happy that he had fun and he had a good
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I think it was like later that day, his teacher was working with him in the classroom, like trying to get him to do a worksheet and like academic work, and he was just like not having it. And she pulled me over and asked like, how engaged was he with you? I'm like, well,
Well.
he was super engaged because we were doing fun stuff that he really liked. So, I mean, kind of feel for the teachers in that way. It is tough when, you know, they have to be showing all this academic progress, but I wonder if maybe there's a way that we can incorporate a little bit more hands-on stuff for him in the classroom since he likes it so much.
Like some type of first then or some type of reward for him.
Yeah.
Getting like something.
And I just found it funny that he was super engaged with me. Like, and he also at the end there, we were playing with the ball and he liked it. And I don't know if you heard him, but I think I asked him something and he was like, all done. And I was like, you mean, yeah, it's time.
Yeah,
if you're time. Requesting, you're asking me appropriately. So yeah, we can be all done. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Guess that's it. Like
such a natural, social, exchange.
Yeah, I mean, any other child, you know, like a typical peer would probably say, like, are we done yet? Like, that's a normal thing to ask. Like, yeah, sure. We've made our time, so we can be done. You've done a lot of hard work today.
Right.
So
do you like this process that we did this year?
I did actually a lot. I mean, I think it was, well, I guess it's hard for me to compare to last year since COVID happened last year and we never really got to like finish our year. But to me, it felt a lot more structured. Like I felt like I had a better idea of this is our plan. This is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. This is how we're going to do it. This is how many times we need to do it. I thought it was great. I liked it a lot. And I do feel like I've developed my skills at least somewhat because I've been thinking about these things, not just with this student, but with some of my other students too. Like I find myself in certain moments, you know, trying to decide how to react to what a student is doing or how, in what direction to take a session and thinking about some of these concepts. Like, I think like I was with one of my preschool students the other day and I had like a certain activity in my mind. I think it was like I wanted to like do like a book with him, but he was so clearly like not wanting to do the book. He really wanted to do this like number puzzle that he was already doing. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Let's do the number puzzle. You're engaged in it. You're motivated by it. So I found a way to target whatever goals he was working on in the context of something that he already liked. So perfect. Yeah, I mean,
Great.
Trying to think about these things like more across the board.
So what you've learned right here, you're generalizing to some of your other students So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think about it. Sometimes it's hard to know, at what point. I work with right now I have a very wide spectrum of ages that I work with.
Right.
I mean, I have everything up to 18-year-olds. So I think with some of my older ones, middle school, high school, I think it is more age appropriate for me to be a little more intentional about, like, this is what we have planned for today.
Yes.
We're gonna do it. But sure, maybe the last 5 minutes we can talk about your plans for the weekend. We can talk about, I don't know, whatever you want to talk about. But so I think you kind of have to adjust your approach to this session.
It seems like the little ones, you always have to have a few things in your up your sleeve.
Yes, a few tricks up your sleeve. But yeah, it is still important to keep in mind, though, that, like, you're always going to get better engagement from a student when it's something that they already love and they're motivated by.
Right.
I mean, I have a high school student that wants nothing more than to play Connect 4. Like, he will play Connect 4 all day, every day. And sometimes I'm like, should I be doing something else? But I offer him other choices and he's like, Connect 4. Okay, great. If you are willing, and he'll work really hard for me. He puts in great effort. We play Connect 4. Okay.
That's great.
I don't know.
All right. Well, I think that's all I have. And do you have any questions or anything?
I don't know if I have. Well, obviously the rating would be quite a bit higher if we were tallying up this rubric. I mean, the way I've marked him, he would have got 8 points now instead of 5. So his score went up pretty clearly. So that's good. I don't know if I have any specific questions right now, but I feel pretty happy with what we've been able to
accomplish,
to get through together. And I definitely am going to be thinking about these concepts moving forward as I continue to work with these kids.
Right. And you know what, your craft, we're continuously working on it. You know, I'm at the end of my career almost, and I'm in learning still. So you just have to love being a student.
Yeah, you have to be flexible and open to trying things a different way and letting go of your pride a little bit and saying, okay, well, maybe there are other ways to go about it.
Right. I mean, look at Zoom. We never would have Zoomed,
Oh, I know.
We learned how to do that, and therapy over, virtually. And
oh, I know.
So, and that was a learning curve too. So put your hand at your shoulder. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, that's all I have. I think all I have to do is write up something. I'm not sure if there's anything on your end to do, but I'll find out for you and let you know.
Yeah, let me know if there's anything else. I'm actually not sure. I think, do we both have to write a reflection? I actually don't know.
That's what I'm not sure about.
Okay, we'll find out.
We'll find out for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Ellen. You did a great job.
Thank you so much, Sandy. Have an awesome spring break.
You too. Are you going anywhere?
Actually, yeah.